Hi, everyone, and welcome to this very exciting session. Let me kick off by giving you a little bit of context on why we are here. India is actually poised for a 23% growth in the banking sector to really truly deliver on a 5 trillion economy dream that we are working towards. And to support this dream of growth and innovation that will be both required to get our banking sector there, we have an esteemed panel with us who will take us through some of the big changes and trends that's happening on both the digital transformation side as well as what we are seeing with the evolution of a platform economy. So truly moving from a solution-based outlook that we've seen, previously, very targeted point solutions, to truly moving to a model which is thinking about an end-to-end journey on the digital side. There are many discussions that are underway on digitization that is truly front to back, and we'll hear some of that today from our panelists, where we see both transformations happening, which are client facing, customer facing, but also all the way through the back of the banking journey, where we are seeing significant improvement on productivity, on the experience that both employees and customers are facing today. So let me kick off the session. We have with us five panelists. We will soon have one more join. We have with us, let me just start in a random order. We have Chandan Ketan, who's the CEO of Muthoot Digital Business, who's joining us. We have Kapil Jacob, who's a senior solution consultant from ServiceNow. We have Ashwin Khurana, who's the CIO of Ujjain Small Bank, as well as significant experience working with multiple banking institutions, giving us his perspectives. We have Srikanth Rajgopalan, who's a practice head for Quest, implementing many of the ServiceNow implementations with over 2 decades of experience in digital transformation and implementation, who will bring us truly a technology view to this discussion. We'll also be joined by Shivkumar Nandipati, who's from Federal Bank and BFC, and he's the Chief Digital Officer for the FedFina, which is the NBFC fully owned by Federal Bank. So we have a great panel, both of very experienced bankers who will give us a view of how banking is thinking about the innovation. We have some new age bankers like Chandan Ketan, who's building digital banking solutions for very well-established banking houses like Muthoot, as well as technology practitioners like Srikanth and Kapil to add their view on how the sector is evolving. So with that, let me get kicked off. I'll start with Mr. Ketan here, and Chandan, please do give us your views. One of the big trends that is pushing us towards this is the customer demand. Customers are no more willing to just take what is offered by a typical banking service or product. And very interestingly, you actually come into the sector with a lot of customer, industry experience, having done this with Flipkart and many other consumer segments. So very curious to hear what you're seeing and what is the implication for the banking sector from a consumer perspective. So let's start with the key role of consumer, and then we'll work backwards.
First of all, thanks, Sreyssha. Good morning to you, and good morning to the rest of the panelists, and good morning to attendees who are watching us and listening to us. I think, Sreyssha, you are talking about a very essential piece. And as you rightly said, so I come from consumer product industry and retail industry. And when I'm getting into banking, I am not seeing it very different, actually. Here we are giving services as compared to products, what I was giving in my past experiences. But in both of these, what we need to do actually is we need to, what I call or what I have learned is being customer backward. We need to solve for what customers are looking for, rather than building solutions and expecting the customer to adapt to it. And let me give you an example. Like in my past experience, we built a solution for Indian Kiranas, which are MSME, representative of the largest MSME sector. when we were building solution for them, we actually learned how do they purchase, how do they sell, how do they operate their 3 to 700 square feet store, right? And we build the solution around how they actually work and what their practices for last several decades. If we try and create something and we expect that they will adapt to it by changing their age-old habit, I don't think so that's going to happen, right? So as we are building solutions for services which are core banking services, I come from a lot of this whole consumer and retail background thinking that we should be solving for looking backwards from the consumers.
Great. No, thank you. And thank you for setting the scene on the nuances of some of these customer segments. Maybe picking up from that, Mr. Khurana, I'll come to you. You service a very similar sort of segment, and you have very unique segments that you're going after from, the small banks perspective. Give us some, color into how does digital and technology truly play into how you're thinking about, how this industry is evolving, and what is the role of next-gen platforms in your segment?
Yeah, thanks, Sreyssha, for the insight and what you want to hear from me. I would say that if I have to sum up my last 25 years journey in the banking industry, then we started to work as technology teams in silos. Then we started to work as technology teams together. Then we started to become agile technology teams to be delivering for the bank. And now the journey is about not just agile technology team, it's the agile enterprise, right? The entire enterprise needs to be working in an agile form. So that's where we are today. And with mobile in everybody's hand, and if I have to look at banking transactions, 80% of the transactions happening out of that device, that becomes the most important device to provide the service on, and the service needs to be continuous. While we keep on hearing, fail fast, learn and move on. In banking, failure means you lose money. So failure is not an option that we look at. So we believe in making sure that what we are going to do on the platforms is going to provide the results in the way we are expecting it to be. So failures may be internal in nature for us when we are designing something, but when we have moved ahead of designing, then we are expecting things to be working as they have been designed. Or keep a very close watch through smaller POCs and things of those sort. How do platform come into the picture? I think I'll separate it into two bits. In the bank, we look at technology in two forms. One is the core, and the second one is the new technologies. So for us, it is very important that the core be robust, because if my core is not robust, whatever I do in new technologies will not be serviced the way it needs to be serviced. The example is, if I look at UPI transactions today, the transaction volume in the bank has gone up not double or triple, it's gone up maybe 10 to 15 times of what we used to do in the past, right? And that could only be sustained because the core was able to take in the volume that came in it from the front-end technologies. So we separate it out into two bits. We work to keep on making the core robust, and we want to take as much advantage as possible of the platform technologies that are around for a quicker deployment and change that the customer and the staff is expecting to happen in their day-to-day lives.
Right. No, great point, Ashwin. We also get caught up in all the new technologies, but you really brought the focus back on the core. Let me actually get Kapil in here. Kapil, many of the ServiceNow pieces, and please elaborate for us. You are trying to orchestrate many of these new technologies together, bring in automation, get scale for some of what Mr. Ashwin also brought. That scale becomes very critical as digital becomes the way of working and not the alternate channel we used to call a few years back. So could you just elaborate for us, how does this orchestration work across different tasks and across the end-to-end process as well?
Sure. It's great to be here. I'll actually start with, the world we live in, right? Everything is seamlessly connected. But despite that, what happens is that there are those silos, there are those disconnected organizations, and then you have that manual process. Now, you might be aware that BCG actually conducted a digital transformation project related survey. And what they found in 2020 was that about 70% of these projects fail. And they found one of the critical success factors for flipping that percentage was to use a business-led, modern, fit-for-purpose technology and a data platform, which could essentially scale digital use cases. Now, this is where ServiceNow comes into play, right? We are that modern, fit-for-purpose technology and data platform. What we essentially do is we orchestrate the flow of work within the enterprise, and we do this by doing three things: we optimize, we connect, and we create. So when I say optimize, we are optimizing processes by applying that workflow, by applying that automation. And then we can scale that using low code and no code as well. Connecting silos, what we do is, and I think one of the panelists was talking about the core and the new technologies. So if you're looking at these are two distinct pieces of technologies. You want an experience for your employees and customers that is seamless across this. If I can orchestrate the flow of information across these new and the core platforms and make that a seamless experience for employees and customers, that solves that problem of de-siloing these disjointed pieces, right? Then we create. What we mean by that is we're creating new value by enabling innovation at scale. This we do through process of automation, AI, low code, and then we can actually create new ways of doing work. So essentially, this is the value prop. And in doing this, we cater to 5 areas, right? Customer experience, employee experience, operating excellence, technology excellence, and then build and automate. So all of this using that single platform, which has native workflow, which has the hyper automation capability using RPA, which has pre-built mobile and conversational user experience, a common services data model that helps you cross leverage that data across that enterprise, and then 200 API connectors for both modern and legacy systems. So essentially, this is what the platform brings. And then going back to what Chandan said, it's all about the persona, right? You can't build a system that, you're force fitting on a persona. You have to be able to make the system usable for that persona. That's again what the platform provides. So essentially, we are that master orchestrator, or what we call the platforms for the enterprise.
All right. No, great, Kapil, and good to hear that you're reading some BCG reports. That's a good one. So, Kapil, I think you've laid out what the platform truly does, right? It's actually that seamless experience, connecting all these silos together, and then obviously innovating on top. Maybe Shivkumar, I'll come to you. You've been leading the digital transformation for the NBFC for quite a few years now. What kind of platforms are we truly leveraging? Because what are the different types of platforms, technologies that the banks and NBFCs have started leveraging, and are you starting to see some implications, impact of that as well?
Sure. Thank you for the question. So as Kapil have pointed it from the systems perspective, I wanted to speak more on the platforms leverage from the customer perspective. I take from the place where Chandan has left that. So generally we build in a manner, in spite of these are the skill set we have and we wanted, we can build this project A, project C. More than that, it's better to see from the customer lens. Customer needs this. So what all we have to do and walk backwards actually. So maybe for the same NBFC journey, in case if I have to explain from the customer lens how the platforms are getting leveraged. For the new customer walk-ins, predominantly it's on the digital marketing which we do. People see it over the social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well on the marketing campaigns. And that's how also they get to know, along with, of course, anyway, the physical presence exists. The topic here is to more speak on the customer lifecycle for the digital. So I'm just going to highlight there. And on the trust perspective, there are Google reviews, there are a lot of Bing reviews or other various portals of the branch listings which happen reviews, along with the testimonials which are in the verbose as well as the video format, which are coupled together over YouTube and all that stuff, also builds the trust for the people. Account openings, I'll speak little less because there's video KYC. Even RBI also has said you can guys go ahead. And new services, what people use it to come to branches and understand that can be seen through the website, customer app, mobile apps, portals as well, and cross sell, upsell also happens there for the customers to know what are other services it provides. And in fact, due to the data customization, customization for the personalization based on the data, we can try to showcase what customer wants. Most of these targeted segment customers, maybe they would interest in this secondary product also, and it helps us to choose that. Customer payments, demonetization itself has made our life easy. So a lot of payments are happening on digital more than people coming. And there's a new thing which has happened on the physical transfer. I'll say that via Amazon, when the gold coin can come, why not the gold loan can come to home? That's the concept which people have thought through, and there's a lot of companies, fintech companies have come over. Even at FedFina, we do have a doorstep golden service operated at from 189 branches, close to 189 branches. If there's any customer service or support, so while there is glossary and FAQs are on website, but we are fine-tuned to build with chatbots, conversational experience to customers, so they understand. It sometimes feels like it's really the person chatting off, and that's also relatively better stuff. And one use case, since I spoke on collections, chatbots, for the collections also we were leveraging on the humanized voice chatbot. So where customer gets the reminder, he doesn't go NPA, or his reminder happens, he doesn't pass through due pass date. So all this stuff happens, and the physical somehow is getting blended with the digital. I think I should say, like last 2-3 years, the marriage has happened. In Telugu, we have 3 knots we tie for the marriage. If I have to say them, demonetization is the first knot, Zio is the second knot, and COVID is the third knot, which made it much simpler. So that's how all the platforms, website, app, emails, communication, chatbots, everything are getting leveraged.
Got it. No, that's a great way to pull the 3 maybe fortunate and unfortunate events together, Shivkumar, for our digital transformation journey. Picking on, you started talking about many of these services, and Srikanth, no one better than you to kind of explain this to us. We all understand everything is a service right now, right? SaaS is the biggest, most probably used word now in the Indian market when it comes to technology. But you also are leading many aspects of banking as a service and BPaaS, which is many of the processes as the service as well. Can you just explain to us a bit of, what is the BPaaS trend and how exactly it's playing out in the banking sector?
Thanks, Sreyssha, and good morning to all. It's great to be here. See, actually, we actually come between, say, the requirements of the bank and what Kapil laid out as the platform capabilities. We as system integrators actually are the key players in this whole ecosystem, where we bring in the capabilities of the platform and how it can be leveraged by financial institutions, banks. The other aspect that we are seeing increasingly is the sort of requirements from the banks or the financial institutions on the service part of it. Yes, we are all very clear about the solutions, the capabilities of the platform, how they can be leveraged to improve better customer experience, have that seamless experience between different channels. So these are some of the capabilities of the platform which a service now can bring to the table. Apart from the other angle, the customers are increasingly looking for now is the service aspect to it. Okay, now how do you bundle these things and then take it to a customer? Okay, so the service angle, which we call BPaaS in our terminology, business process as a service, is something what we as system integrators are seeing with most customers. Let's take an example. We spoke about KYC, we spoke about collections. Okay, these are some of the things which still need people to go collect documents. Okay, scan it, send it. We need to have people on the ground to do some of these work. Okay, so Quest, is one of the largest BPO players in India. And when we are talking to customers like banks, okay, they are saying if you can offer these solutions on a platform like ServiceNow as a bundled service to us, where you also do the system integration, please, but also take care of running it as a service with an outcome-based pricing. Okay, so the customers are not looking to just invest in the licenses on the platform. Okay, they are looking something beyond that. Now, how we actually leverage the licenses and sort of tie to an outcome-based model where we are responsible as system integrators to run this process efficiently with our backend engine, okay, with our whole expertise in the BPO space. And then we sort of tied up with the customer, saying that we run this service for you, we leverage the capabilities of the platform, okay, offer that new age platform to you, which will be integrated with your core banking system, with the other system in the enterprise, and then offer you as a service. So we come in and say, we offer this service to you, you pay as service, we will monetize this model for you. This is the increasing ask from the customers now. Okay, there are a lot of new age platforms with sort of infinite capabilities now. So now, how do we actually take it to the next step? So we have gone through development using Java, VB, and along we have moved to an age where it's more platform driven. You have platforms for most of the solutions today. Any problem, you have a platform which can address those solutions, and you also have low code, no code capabilities in the platform, which can also tailor your solution to meet your exact business requirement. The next step is, how do we monetize it, especially in the Indian market context, where you bring in that whole service angle also, and then have a bundled offering to the customers where we provide a service, use the capabilities of the platform, and ensure that the service probably moves to the next level, or the person on the ground is used to an optimum capacity. You use tools like ServiceNow to ensure that you sort of get maximum out of the people who are your field service agents, or doing your collections. You get most sort of value from people on the ground. So this is what we are as system integrators seeing as a trend now, where it is all about the service. There's a specific service, you get a solution for that service, monetize that service, and then take it to the customer, where we leverage the power of the platform, but we are ultimately responsible for the SLAs, and also have a sort of monetary play, wherein it's not just the licenses that they are buying, they are enrolling for a service.
Great. No, Srikanth, very, very well put. There is a plethora of platforms and services and solutions, and being able to actually get value from it is probably one of the big challenges most of the audience will also relate to. Let me just build on your thread on the Indian context, and Chandan, I will come to you on this one. We have a very unique ecosystem where, our underlying financial infrastructure is just getting better and better. Shivkumar had also pointed to UPI and some of the payment infrastructure. But with Oken and many other elements kind of building on top, we will land with very, very sophisticated infrastructure in the coming years, and probably the most leading globally. But our customers are quite different, with very unique needs. And Chandan, you touched upon it, saying, if it's a Kirana store, having done something for the last 2 decades, we are not going to get to force them into a new model. So what does it truly mean in the Indian context, the whole digital journey? Is it truly digital? Are there other nuances that we should be cognizant of? And as you are building a new bank, almost, how do you think of these implications?
Yeah. No, thanks, Sreyssha, for this. See, I think this is a very, very important point for all of us to dwell upon, right? Because we are solving for a unique set of consumer and customers. For us in Muthoot Digital, we are actually focusing on, I would say, 3 things. One is, how do we keep customer at the center of whatever we work on, right? Our co-customer is the common man of India and the MSME, right? And what is important actually is that we focus as a solution provider, as a platform, we focus in providing stuff which are relevant and simple for them. And rather than focusing on making it over sophisticated. So that is one piece. How do we offer our product and services to the consumers? That's one piece. The second piece actually is that how do we ensure that we reach to the consumer or consumer reach to us? And we have seen more than often that our consumers are evolving and our consumers are diverse set of individuals. For some, having something been delivered end-to-end digital, they will adapt to it. For some, they may adapt to it, a part of it, but they will still be needing a bit of hand-holding. And there are some, they may not be able to adapt to it because of the age, exposure, XYZ. And we need to actually create a seamless solution where we give them 100% assistance, right? And that's what we are trying to solve actually in Muthoot Digital for this common man and MSME. How do we create something we call as phygital, which is a combination or seamless integration of physical and digital? And keeping each of these consumers and how they are evolving, how do we give our service and they actually are able to reach and consume us in the most seamless and integrated fashion possible? The third thing which I'll actually talk about is that you have talked about what you solve for the consumer. How do you actually reach it to them? But how do you make your platform enriched? And as we are building Muthoot Digital, we are actually building something which is going to be B2B, B2C, and B2B2C. What is most important actually is that we keep our platform as open as possible so that it is seamlessly integrated with ecosystem at large, so that we are able to give consumers what they want and wherever they want, right? And in summary, what I always keep on saying is that as a solution or a platform, you need to be driven by wherever, however, and whenever, right? And that's how our consumers will be actually looking at us.
Got it. No, great, Chandan, and thanks for summarizing that for us. Maybe Ashwin, if you could elaborate a bit more on, so what, right? So Chandan spoke about it's important to keep the consumer at the center of it and build with the nuances of what they are looking for. You have actually built this over the last couple of decades over different types of segments. What are some of the platforms, technologies you're leveraging to make that, both seamlessness as well as the innovation kick in the bank?
To take it from where Chandan left, the basic framework that we applied all through the development activities that we carried out for the customer or for staff was we used to apply the KISS formula, right? So it is known as keep it simple and stupid. We said keep it simple and secure. So I think that's our key framework that we apply. We don't want to crowd a solution with things that the customer may not want to use. We would want to crowd the solution with something which customer is using on a frequent basis. And frequent in banking is even if it is used 10 times a month, right? So that's how we look at it and we design it. Wherever it is not that frequent, we adopt the phygital route, as mentioned by Chandan. So let's not complicate things in the hands of the user. The best example is WhatsApp. Nobody trains people on WhatsApp. People learn to use it themselves, right? Many banks are now coming up with WhatsApp on banking on WhatsApp, and you don't train them. You just send a message and people start to use it, right? So the adoption is quite high in that space because that's one tool everybody is comfortable with. Coming to platforms. I feel there are some good platforms that we have used in the past, and one of them that immediately comes to mind is Salesforce. That was one platform where quite a bit of use has happened in banks, and that use is growing, right? I think the other bit that I would say is platforms on which you start to build yourselves, because what is felt is the need to develop something quickly, the time to market right, is becoming extremely critical. Gone are the days where a project would take 18 months to complete and we will all be waiting for the project to go through. I think what people want to see is week on week what can we come out with. So that's an important bit. The other important bit is how do we structure our technology teams, right? Because the familiarity with what the organization needs is extremely important. And that is something that we need to be adopting a hybrid model rather than a completely outsourced or a completely internal team model. And we need to find that right balance where we are able to still maintain the speed. The dependency should be to make things quicker and not really intelligence. Intelligence should come from within is what I feel if one wants to be successful on platforms. The third thing is, yes, you may not know everything about the product you need, but the platform should allow us to adopt and change quickly to move in the direction that we need to move. I hear about so many no-code, no-code platforms, but believe me, the amount of effort we are spending to make a change on those platforms is no joke. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes money. So yeah. Is there anything that we find close to what we have to achieve? I would say there are a couple of platforms there which need expertise within to make it successful. Is how I would look at. I mean, ultimately, the aim is to make things faster, and to ensure that you are in the market early to take the benefit of it, and not late to just be a follower. So I think that's.
Got it. No, I think, and thank you, Ashwin, for touching on the the tech function of the future as well, right? Because this is truly a challenging space, and with our current talent crunch, not an easy one to solve either. But let me pick on the thread of the platform piece that you were speaking about, and the mixture of various platforms and the use cases on some of them. Maybe Kapil, to your point, you spoke about how the platform can be, the seamless layer between all of these elements. Give us a bit more, depth and color on, in our Indian context, where is this getting leveraged? What kind of challenges are we solving with the ServiceNow platform?
Sure, Sreyssha. I think a very good conversation, and interestingly, the use case that I am going to elaborate, it kind of covers the themes that both Chandan and Ashwin talked about. So I'll just repeat the themes just to be sure I heard it right. One, we were talking about customer and employee at the center. That was one theme that was consistent. Second, Ashwin talked about intuitiveness of the platform. He also talked about building on that platform, right? The capability to build something on this platform. And then platform should have its own intelligence. These are the themes that he talked about. Now, one of the leading banks in India, it had about 12 to 15 years worth of technology islands. Over a period of time, they built technology islands there. What also started happening was that there's that tech debt that happens, right? Especially when you have like 14-point solutions. So this leads to blocking your productivity gain and stifling innovation. The other challenge that bank was facing was it was having a lot of system outages, and due to this, there was even punitive action by regulators. They had asset compliance issues. And when the COVID pandemic started, what happened was that the employee experience, the user experience was accentuated, that they had a really bad problem there. And the IT team was flooded with a lot of requests regarding productivity, right? This bank also had about 300 plus custom Lotus Notes applications, which they had built over a period of 12 years. Now, Ashwin rightly pointed out that sometimes what happens is that we call the term developer velocity, right? This is related to innovation. Developer velocity takes a hit when you're using legacy platforms and you're not able to push in code fast. These were the bunch of problems that this bank was facing. As I mentioned earlier, we have solutions across customer experience, employee experience, operating excellence, technology excellence, and build and automate. in this scenario, all of this came together. So they did a core IT modernization. They replaced their legacy systems with our IT service management, our IT operations management, our IT asset management, which is hardware asset and software assets. So this took care of their IT modernization needs. Then they brought in our platform capability on employee service center. So this took care of their employee experience needs. And then finally, creative workflows. So we have low code, no code capability on the platform. This includes, RPA kind of capability. It includes build your own, workflow kind of capability. And what this did is, so they tried to rationalize those 300 custom Lotus Notes application. Now they were able to deploy enterprise applications quicker and faster, obviously better employee experience, and then the reduced cost of, maintaining those custom legacy applications. So that's that entire story.
Got it. No, that's good. And maybe couple building on that, Shivkumar, from your experience, these are some of the areas which are starting to truly become viable. Where have you seen the impact? I mean, we're talking about a plethora of use cases and applications, but where are you starting to see some true impact from your technology implementations?
Yes, like how Ashwin pointed, no, customer needs something. So if it is available over WhatsApp, nobody needs to train. So while WhatsApp is something as covered, I wanted to cover more on the voice bots actually, where the conversation has become much more easier. People don't want to write the forms and submit, nor go to branch, stand and understand, and put some message and leave it. Maybe they wanted an instant solution. They wanted to express their emotions, feelings, and thanks to AI and ASR, where automatic speech recognition and which has helped to understand these things and convert the people's conversation into the respective codes, so that people would be able to speak and their problems would be solved. There are a couple of use cases we can see actually in the NBFC industry as well. Predominantly, like I have actually touched upon the collections, where reminders or the calls for DPD, trying to tell them in a softer tone. The bot doesn't get angry the number of times you speak also. So that's one smoother case. And leads qualification is also another case which we can help customers or the prospects to onboard and get all the details. Maybe it can actually help between reaching to the right respective branch manager to qualify or disqualify, instead of the traditional way of telecaller doing it. There are some other use cases like on the gold loan business, when there is a top up facility available to the gold prices shooting up, if we're mentioning them the respective facility, and this happens not structurally, this is more dependent on the gold loan. Or on the other side, on the margin calls, if the gold prices have fallen down. So these are some of the use cases where the reminders and all can go. But only one point to know was, when we are on the voice bots and we are training that for the first time, the use case of it is prone to fail, because the bot is very new to the system and you have fed your knowledge and inputs, whatever you thought through, all the elements and conversations can be there. But over the period of time, when you keep someone assigned to that, say, product manager kind of setup, and understand what customers are asking, speaking, then the bot also improves on it. Not just that, we would also get a lot of new insights or some business impactful changes which we can take from that conversation. So this is one area which I feel it will grow here.
Got it. No, great. And you finished with a good point on impact. And Shrikant, I'll come to you as we started with this whole BPaaS and how you're able to monetize and show impact here. Can you give us maybe some specifics, right? Like, where are we seeing the impact? What are the kind of metrics that we are looking at, whether it's front of office like leads and others that Shivkumar spoke about, or back office like collections, field management, and so on?
Yeah, probably I would take it from where Kapil probably left off, because Kapil addressed the issues where the customers are facing and how a platform can actually address these challenges. Now, where we coming from is, see, if you look at the business, that question, the BPO business, we are sort of associated with some of these banks, financial institutions for more than 10 years, 15 years. So we exactly know their pain points, okay, and where we can add value. So that is where using these platforms like ServiceNow, we will probably able to tailor solutions or create solutions to the banks where we'll be able to sort of improve productivity in process like collections, which we are already running for some of these banks. Okay.
Right.
And as part of our business in Quest, we do a lot of collections. We cover about 95% of the PIN codes in India today. So if we have to sort of get to the next level of service, how do we engage these field service agents better? Okay, how do we do intelligent routing for these agents? Okay, that is where using our expertise and the power of platform, what Kapil was talking about, we can sort of synergize that and take it to the customers and show them that you are already on these platforms, but we can typically build some custom applications for you and leverage the power of the platforms to ensure that the business process that we have signed up for, there is a distinct improvement in the productivity as far as these processes are concerned. And tool like ServiceNow has a lot of capability on field service management, intelligent routing. How do you optimize the agent? Okay, so this is where we come in and say, okay, we will leverage this. We have our domain expertise in collections. We know how KYC is done. We know how insurance administration is done. So we build sort of applications like a Loan Conneqt, where we use the power of the platform, build a tailored solution, and run that solution for these customers.
Got it.
This is the whole BPaaS theme that we are coming up with, where we leverage the power of the platform. We understand the pain points of the bank. Okay, we are already signed up with the customers for specific KPIs, but we also understand their business KPIs and jointly build a solution and then take it to the customers. It could be in area of collection, it could be KYC, it could be insurance administration. And as Kapil said, building these solutions on a service now is easy. For a system integrator like us, it's pretty easy. I mean, we don't have to spend 16 weeks, 18 weeks to sort of come up with these solutions. We can quickly come up with these solutions, demonstrate the power of those solutions, and then possibly take it to the next level. So this is where this whole expertise and this service as a model, now everything is sort of tuning towards everything is a service is the buzzword today.
Right.
So I think
Srikanth, I'm just conscious of time. I think that's a great point on shared outcomes for the providers and the bank. Maybe I will close with that. Maybe one word answer from each of you to finish. The one technology you think will scale and make a difference, right? And maybe Ashwin, I'll start with you and we can just go in any order. Just one word.
You said one word, I will call it idiot proof.
Idiot proof. Okay, Chandan?
Solving for the non-English speaking users, actually.
Non-English speaking, great. Srikanth?
Hyper automation and low code, no code.
Great. Kapil?
ServiceNow.
Great. Shivkumar?
Spatial learning.
Okay, spatial learning. Excellent. Thank you so much, team. It was fantastic interaction, and thank you for so openly sharing your views. I think a few things maybe I will take away from this session is surely on keeping customer in the center and working backwards. Seamless, simple implementation of technology, and to Ashwin's point, we really don't have an option for failure, right? This is banking, and there's no room for error here. So building something that's secure and stable probably are the couple of things I'll take away. Again, thank you so much for being a great panel, and hopefully audience has taken away a few things. Isha, over to you.